the time and skill, and that's what we still do today. So there's some people that are phenomenal with their social media and they want to handle it themselves, and that's fine. But we are there for anybody who doesn't want to deal with it, just like Brian said, or doesn't like dealing with it. And we help them pretty much keep their marketing presence out there digitally. We also help individuals with personal digital marketing with Proverb. That's a very recent launch of ours, and I'll show you the website too. And what Proverb does is, what we've noticed is it's not all businesses, it's not all people that can own a website. And at times, marketing your skills personally on a general website is sort of hard. But Proverb is for the individual professional that can market themselves using social media and digital marketing to spread their message out there as them. So we know, for example, now Bryant is 5 Star Computers. He can market everything when it comes to 5 Star Computers there. But there's a lot we don't know also about Bryant that can tie into his marketing. He's um, um, he's associated with some organizations. He might be he might have some hobbies, and what Proverb does is it sort of like combines all that. So if I'm looking for an IT guy whose hobby actually happens to be playing games, and if that's what Bryant does as an example, if that's the case, then that might be the person I want to actually fix my computer because I'm dealing with a gaming computer and I know that they have a passion for gaming. But that is for the individual, and I'll show that. We help increase the digital audience because we know people will know more about you digitally, because we know people will search for things online first before they go in person. Increasing your digital audience increasing your digital audience can be very helpful. And what we do is spread you out there impression wise. We look at impressions. We know the more people see you, the more you convert. You know, if you have a store and you have 100 people physically walk in the store, you won't convert as having 5,000 people walk in the store. It's a game of numbers at the end of the day. The more people can see you, reckon with you, know more about you, even a subliminal fashion, which is what a lot of social media is. It registers, and when they need your help, then they come out there. And then we train and provide information. So there's some people, again, that have their companies, they have their social media managers or their social media departments, and we go and train them. And we also provide digital tools, uh, which is for we have tools that can help you on Instagram. We have tools that can help you on Pinterest, on Twitter to pretty much boost you out there. So that's what we do at BizCrown Media. And here, I'll open it here. Okay. So this is our website, about us here. We have our services here, digital marketing, search engine optimization, and being IT. I'm sure a lot of you are pretty much familiar with these terms, but if you're not, please feel free to let me know. So we do SEO, we do social media services, we help with content marketing that has to do with articles or even analyzing what type of content should go on your website so you can get more hits, marketing consulting, social media strategy, video services, whether it's production or marketing, and we have special services because we have some clients that we've helped in groups and sort of have mastered them, how to work with those industries. So that's accounting, commercial real estate, and medical marketing. What's also really cool, because these are our services, what's also really cool about the website is there's a ton of content here. And a lot of content, a lot of people come in to check out, to learn stuff. And as you can see, this is personal digital branding to enhance your career. So whether it's video tutorials or whether it's blogs, we have a whole host of them here that we get tons of hits for because a lot of people want to come and learn. So it ties into our mission of also training people. And then go to Proverb. Now you'll notice that the Proverb site is loading very slowly, which from a marketing perspective and an SEO perspective, we do not like, but that's because it's going through some major updates right now. So that's why. So Proverb, as you can see, it actually is location bound. So if you go to Proverb wherever you are, it's going to tell you to explore your local place. Now, internet I'm using here is tied to Chicago. That's why it's showing that. But if I was at home, it would show explore Algonquin. So if you go here, it'll show your local place. And what it shows are professionals, like I said. So you'll notice it's not saying the name of the business, not saying the name of your company, it's saying the name of the person. And it says, for instance, here, Angela Bachelor, real estate broker, Des Plaines, Illinois. If you click that and look at her profile, and what it is, for instance, Angela works for a major real estate company. So she doesn't have her own website that she could say it's Angela Bachelor's website. And everything there is just tied to real estate. And so the other option for her would be to build a website, but how many individual professionals can do that? But that's where Proverb comes into play. So you can search because it's location based. These pictures are all optimized. That's what we like to call them. And we create this content. This is not her. All we do is we look at your LinkedIn and your resume, create this content for you, and we list all these things for optimization purposes. So you see her profession, the markets, the specialties, her education, certifications, business organizations, and hobbies. So if I'm looking for a realtor who's actually into CrossFit, she would be a good person for me to go to. And that's what Proverb pretty much does. And you could be contacted in here, and you have a dashboard to actually see where people are contacting you from. So this is for the individual, and this is because we're in the personal branding age now. Nothing can explain it better than what we're going through with COVID right now. It has opened up a whole market for people who are going, I want to pursue my dreams. I want to, I want to do this. I want to do that. But going to another, setting up a website and all that is a huge curve. And LinkedIn is not really a marketing site because you can hide your profile. And, it doesn't market you. Like on here, we market you on social media and we market you on Google. So we're actively putting you out there. So if you visited Proverb now, you would see posts of our professionals going out saying if you needed a professional realtor, contact Angela, which places like LinkedIn and stuff don't do. But we do that and goes to LinkedIn, Facebook, and other channels. So that's a Proverb. We help increase digital audience, train and provide digital tools, which I showed. So now, types of digital marketing. So I know we sort of mentioned social media is what we do, but here, we do. Bryant mentioned social media, but when it comes to digital marketing, these are a whole host of things that are digital marketing related: social media, content marketing, SEO, SEM, pay-per-click, affiliate marketing, email marketing, radio advertising, TV, and mobile. And a lot of these we have played in, especially except for radio advertising, we have played in all these spaces. But we are highly specialized when it comes to SEO and social media marketing. Now, what philosophy do we follow? This is a philosophy I created, and it's the fact that your marketing should have two outlets. One should be the proactive outbound, responsive inbound. This is your digital marketing, and everything that goes on in here in the middle has to do with your proactive and responsive marketing. Now, proactive is very simple. That's you going on social pages, going on places, and reaching out. So consider social media. I post things and I want people to see it for their awareness. Responsive is I'm being available on Google when people are searching for me. So here's I'm proactive, I'm posting. Responsive is me being available. Once you have these two covered, whether it's physical, I know it says digital here, but once you have these two covered in marketing, you're pretty much set up for the conversion. So that's a good way to look at it, and that's the philosophy that we follow. Now, just wanted to talk about the current trends because a lot has changed. A lot has changed recently due to COVID. And the current trends are what inspires us as digital marketers to follow because we follow we follow where people are going. When I started BizCrown, when I would really stepped up the SEO game, And the way my philosophy changed was that instead of me creating a blog for that I felt was good, I actually went and searched for what people were looking for through keywords and created blogs on that. And that was the icing on the cake. And you just notice with that, you really don't even need to do much marketing because people are looking for that. You just post there and it's there for you. And so following the trends has been, it's a cornerstone of digital marketing because you want to know where people are to follow that way. And what we've seen now in the current trends is that communication, entertainment, information, education, those things have really, really boomed. And based off of the top apps, as you could see, this was at March 2020, it might have changed now. But for the most part, it's still pretty solid. Zoom, which we know everybody's using, House Party, which people use for games, TikTok, Save the Girl, which is a game, Disney for games, Perfect Green Games, Home Restoration, which is a game, WhatsApp Communication, Park Master, a game, and Microsoft Teams, which I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with. But that sort of shows where the mindset of the people are. There's a new video that I'm working on that I'll be releasing this evening, and it's actually segmented consumers based on the COVID pandemic, which segments them to cut, keep spending, be frugal, and the ballers, which is those that are just hibernating and spending, even spending more. And it's so interesting how breaking it down and looking at where your clientele might fall in there can give you insights on, what to do, because this is how you know people are thinking right now. It makes it just not hard work for you to kind of figure out what's going on. Tools, platforms, and strategies that are huge right now. Local marketing, people can't move around much. So yes, local Facebook posts are good. Local Google My Business posts are good. Yelp, all those things are pretty much good now. Entertainment, people are bored. So the more you can provide content that's helping people, that's actually entertaining people, you'll be doing absolutely fine. Information and news, people are curious. So how-tos, helpful info, LinkedIn slides, email. If you look at Brian's page, I don't know if you follow Brian's 5-star page, but a lot of the posts there are showing how-tos, things that could be helpful for somebody that would need an IT person, during these times. So they could read that and sort of figure out, hey, this is where I'm getting this helpful information. Maybe when I want to do stuff, this is who I need to contact. And education for children at home, parents need help. I have 2 toddlers, so I know exactly what that is because the technology for education right now, especially for the young ones, and my toddlers are autistic, just are not it at all. So to find things that are engaging are pretty hard, but the little ones that you find are like gold. I'm in education for skills. People are looking for new beginnings on their own. That's what we're seeing, and these are the tools, the platforms, and strategies that are pretty much working right now. How we are helping right now is we're helping businesses and individuals who don't have the time, skill, or will for marketing with BizCrown Media. We know there's some people that don't even want to deal with things right now based on how things are. We're there for them. There's people that just don't know how to communicate right now. We run into that where they're just like, I just don't know what to say, or I don't know the tone to put out there. And so that's how we're helping businesses. We're also training, rolling out new curriculums and guides, interactive content and webinars. And tools, we have a website, which I didn't show here. It's a Grammarly, but it's going to be a website where there are going to be tools where you as an entrepreneur can go in and download tools that you can actually use on your website or just on your computer just to help you with marketing. That's just a brief presentation on what we do and just wanted to share. And now I'll open up for questions.
Okay, I'm going to unmute everybody. Okay, everybody is unmuted. If you have questions for Dr. Mild, speak up, please.
I know I blew through that, but I just wanted to give an overview and open it more because I know questions will take more time so we can discuss more.
What's your general cost base?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What's the general cost or basic starting cost?
Oh, it varies. So we have programs that range from 250 a month. We have some clients that do 4,000 a month, depending on the services that they're doing. So we typically customize. So we have because there's some smaller businesses that want smaller packages or just want a package just to keep in touch, which is more proactive as opposed to responsive. So it just varies. We build just the packages, but we have programs that start for social media or Google My Business posts ranging from 200 and up a month, $200 a month.
Hi, this is John. The question is, are there tools that allow you to create campaigns? Like, let's say you did all your uploads in one day, like a Sunday, and then have them um, drop over a scheduled period, like throughout the week, so the content's consistently without you having to spend time constantly pumping content out.
Yeah, so there are various tools out there that you could use for scheduling. There aren't, there are various ones that you still have to go in and publish content. So you still have to block time and go in and publish, maybe 2-3 hours, publish content, and then it just fills it out throughout the whole week. The social media apps too, most allow that. They allow you to post schedules in the future. You can go on Facebook and decide to post in the future. The benefits of the other apps, the third-party apps, is you can go in and post to as many platforms. So instead of just going to Facebook and scheduling posts that'll go on Facebook, you'll go on one platform and schedule a ton of posts that'll go to a ton of platforms. But you typically have to pay a monthly fee or something.
And a follow-up question: are there platform of those products that are third-party? Do you have a preference, or do you find them all about equal?
No, what I've noticed is you will. It's typically what works for you. It's typically to do research and find what works for you. There's some apps that some people I've told them go use it and they go, I don't like that. There's some apps that I don't like that some people absolutely adore. So it's sort of like, that whole situation of Mayo likes the iPhone and Brian likes Samsung.
Well, I'm right, so.
Exactly. Yeah. So but there are tons there where you just easily search auto posting, social auto posting tools, and just a good amount of them will come out.
Is Hootsuite one of those?
Yes, Hootsuite's one of them. We use Hootsuite. We also have like internal ones that we use that we programmed through other third party apps. But Hootsuite's one of them. Hootsuite's actually very good. A lot of people don't like it, but we love it. No problem.
Are you finding that there is any interest in VR platforms for content now that we've experienced pandemic?
Yeah.
People are seeking more visceral, more connected platforms. Are you seeing that there's tools, or are there ways to start using, for example, like I know Google has the Google, Facebook has Google Facebook goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Are there tools that can help market to individuals that are on those platforms?
Yeah, well, for instance, I read recently Facebook is investing heavily in VR now. And when you hear that, it has to do with data. So VR is becoming huge. It's been a slow, they thought VR was going to boom, take off right away, but it never did. For some reason or the other, these past few months, well, maybe people are at home, the data is showing because a lot of people are just tired the usual and want to immerse themselves just like they're going in the content like Netflix and all those things going up. So VR is actually a skyrocketing. And what I also learned was that a lot of companies it's not just about the consumer, but it's mostly the companies because they're realizing that they have to immerse the consumer way more. They have to find ways to really get the consumer in to buy into their stuff, knowing fully well that till there's a vaccine or till there's a real medical solution, they're going to be in this loop of going back and forth, back and forth. So what's the best way to excite people? And also the data also shows that till there's a vaccine and a medical solution, the masses aren't comfortable in just going out. So if you're looking at that data, you're going, okay, how can I get these people in more now, and how can I convert more? And VR is absolutely one of them. So if you also notice the fact that you're seeing a lot of more memes with people with VR falling down or running into their TVs, that's how, that when we see those trends, that's how we know, like, okay, this is happening. There's a huge meme of a guy a few days ago that was was on the VR thing and was walking on a tightrope or something and just launched into his like big screen TV and broke it. But that's where the companies want to get people to, to take those big launches towards them, and stuff. So the fact that Facebook, when you see Facebook is investing money already, that's just like the data has gone up there, and that's where they're throwing money there. So yeah, VR would be something to look into and something to advise companies who need that immersive experience to start looking into for their technology too. It's almost like if somebody jumps into it right now, they'll be a game changer because the technology itself is just naturally being wanted. So the early people that go into it right now will probably gain a whole lot more from it, as opposed to those that'll be coming in later, like, oh, we need our VR setup now. Sort of like how a lot of them had to scramble due to COVID because they didn't have solid digital infrastructures in place. So yeah, absolutely. VR would be, the data is showing that VR is trending, and so is the content.
Hello, this is Sharon Riley. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Sharon. Hi.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. I got caught up, so I am on via phone, and I do appreciate that. Most people don't do that. I have a few questions, but first you mentioned the conversion. And so I'm looking at a couple of groups where the growth has been exponential since the pandemic. And they're trying to convert like on Facebook Live or on Zoom, but they're asking for email addresses. Another company that I met through a Facebook ad, they're able to capture your text information for a higher, fee in terms of being able to sell that, to the particular group. So my question is, how do you convert? What do you do after conversion? Are you GDPR compliant? So like we'll get email addresses, and then what would you do with those like afterwards to market them? Now that is for this particular group. I have other questions about another group as well too. But how would you do your conversions? And then do you encourage the web page, ticket platform they use, or even like landing pages?
Yeah. Okay. So, so to make sure I get the question right. So a lot of companies are getting, you're saying based on how they're retrieving email information now or being able to retrieve it, how do you market to those people that you get through Zoom?
That's one question. And then some of them, like if it's like a Facebook Live, they don't get any of the emails. So they're asking for emails. And generally, people aren't going to necessarily give you an email if you're on a Facebook Live.
Right.
Because they didn't join in that way, so they're not going to do that. So,
Yes.
what's the best way for that particular group instead of asking to get that information? And then, in terms of too, if you are getting it from like a Zoom, then what do you do, or even a ticketing platform to market to those particular people because you've got their email?
Yeah. Well, if you get it through Zoom, if you get it through some sort of public a forum like that, you probably have to tell them, hey, you will be, if you don't mind, you'll be getting emails from me, and if you don't want, unsubscribe. The main thing is, what I've noticed is if the content is good, getting emails typically is not hard.
Okay,
And
okay, the content's good. Okay, all right.
yeah, it's not
Okay.
hard. And so that's one thing. So one thing is to make the content good, because if the content is good, then that. Number two is to sort of build the customer journey through that. And the customer journey is, I'm an avid person for website marketing. I believe the website is your home at the end of the day. Facebook could go tomorrow. They could cancel your page.
Right.
Twitter, all these companies could disappear tomorrow. And now you're stuck, at their mercy. So I've always been an avid person for marketing strictly through your website. I mean, using all these channels, but absolutely marketing through your website. And
Okay.
when you do that, if, for instance, I did a Facebook Live and I wanted emails, all I have to do is create a customer journey that goes to the website. So if I have just talked about IT security or the dangers of stuff that I feel might be not helpful for me, and then you say, hey, I can't finish all this content here, so just go on my site. I have a free e-paper that you can download, or a free e-guide. When you're going there, at that point, your mindset is completely different. Like if you go there and you actually put your email information in and it doesn't work, you get pissed.
Yeah, I thought about creating an ebook on the Canva because we had one of our professor advisors to create a COVID response.
Yep.
But I wasn't sure how to do what's the best way to do the ebook. And so I mean, I looked at your website as well,
and
too.
it doesn't have to be an ebook too. It could be an e-paper. It could be
Oh, Dr. Mayo froze.
Hello?
you might just want to subscribe so that you can get that. And in that mindset, you are helping them. That's a helping mindset, because I tell people to follow our page because I know it's going to help you eventually. Like ultimately, if you follow BizCrown Media's business page, it is not for my as much benefit as it is more for you, because you could just see gold dime there that'll change everything about your business. So and I know that I've seen it before, so I have that mentality.
What I told you to do was eat your
I'm gonna help you.
hamburger.
So this information is out there for you, and just provide your email. And in that instance, you get it. You just get it.
Okay, another question for you. So I looked at your website, and normally, like the group that I work in, we do promos. And so you had two really good promos that were for 2018. And for me, it was like I wanted to shorten it from like the 7:45 seconds. You had one, then you had another one for medical to market to another Facebook group that I'm in. To try to, get you in like as another speaker somewhere else. But I like the one from 2020, that was like the 1 minute one, but you were so detailed in the other ones. I felt like if I put, the longer ones out there, people say, wow, he gave me everything I need, to know. And so how, do you feel there's a particular length, like on a promo, or, you're good. You gave a lot of detail. So
Okay, is that on the homepage of the website, the video on the homepage of the website, or?
I Googled you and found the other ones, but then I went to the website and found the shorter one. And
Okay.
so that's the one that I use.
Okay. So
And
it's continue.
Go ahead. Never gonna go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, so your question is pretty much how do I determine the length of the video for the format that I need it for?
Correct.
Okay. And it's a tricky question because you might need it for different formats. So if I'm shooting a video for, I try to find the middle. I try to find the middle ground because ideally, technically, if you had a huge production company, you would shoot specifically like this for Instagram, knowing that Instagram loves background.
Okay.
And take more than a minute for their short videos, and then the long ones are very long, but they're in your face. So,
Okay.
yeah. And so it typically depends on the format. Now, a video for the website is typically, depending on what it is, a homepage video. You want to express all of what you do as much as possible. And so that's sort of like your digital business card. So to your point, like you said,
Okay.
I saw it was detailed. I saw what you offer. And that's because I had to go there to explain all this stuff so that they can have an idea. And we have a lot of services. So it's a different format. You see, it's wide, it's more formal. It's not me wearing a short sleeve shirt.
Right.
So really, really depends. But what I say is, if you always find a middle ground to find a professional video, then you can always repurpose it for different things.
Okay.
You know. So a home video, though, on the home page, at least a minute to 2 minutes, because they're not going to spend as much time. They just want to get an info of what you do and move on. But within a minute to 2 minutes, 45 to 90 minutes, you should be good.
Seconds.
Okay.
Seconds,
Great.
seconds, right?
I
That's
knew
a movie.
seconds. The webinar is 45 minutes rather longer. But thank you so much. And again, I really appreciate it. You have a lot of content out there, and it's very good. And so I do have one group that's just like for primarily small businesses. Their averaging is from startup to $1 million. And so I'm able to market to them because of the committee that I'm on. And then there's another group that I'm with, and then they're writers. So they hate social media. And so they hate it. And so, in terms of, they're kind of lost right now in terms of what to do because they're one of the largest groups in the Midwest. And so LitFest may be gone and they don't really know what to do. So just needed probably some ideas to bounce off their heads as well, too. So I have more questions, but I'll contact you later. But thank you so much for getting on our call. We appreciate it.
If you don't mind me asking, so you say they're lost. In what ways are they lost? Is it
So
COVID?
basically, they're just not sure how to, what to do because the group is small when we meet, but they're the largest in terms of the Midwest. And they're normally in every publication or they're at every festival. And so they could still market like how we're doing this, which is to create that online particular presence, but they're not real sure quite yet how to do that.
Got it.
So that's what I want to, because I'm learning Zoom too. And I was on a one meeting for a group and I didn't know what I was doing. So I missed that meeting. And so now I have to listen to the recap. But when I got on with my family, they talked me through it. They, were texting me, they're calling my daughter. So finally I was able to get on. And so now I'm like, ooh, I'm Zoom prepared. But as we, move on, it's pretty much you have to have these under your belt because when we come out of the pandemic, if you don't have this particular knowledge that you're talking about, then, none of us would really be marketable.
Thanks for answering that.
You're welcome.
I'm open for more questions. And this could be anything digital marketing related. Doesn't just have to be social media. I got a chat. Okay.
We're still, I mean, I'm still here.
Are there ways to create automatic posting on social media? Can you load all your campaigns in one session and set them to release or we thought about? Yeah. Okay, that's what we covered with John. Okay. And so, if I may ask, does everybody have a social media presence?
This is Sharon. I do.
Okay.
Right now,
Yes, this
what
is
I am
Lamar.
doing.
Okay. And if I may ask, what are you seeing from your your social media efforts?
This is Sharon again. I normally use like the hashtag, so I judge a lot by my hashtag, and then I also, for particular church I'm going to, I've been able to give them pointers on what people look at in terms of, you know, because we're global, and that they're not using their screen time. Their screen is blank. And so unless you do a call to action, you can do the call to action on all four corners or possibly, you know, the three corners. They don't really understand what I mean, but they did change some stuff because they promoted people mailing something, emailing online, and then, of course, like physically walking to the church. So I texted them and I said, reverse the order. You know, they're on the phones mostly, so do the text to give first. Do online second, because you don't want to go away from the page that you're on to do it online. Get a bit.ly in there to shorten where they need to go. And then you know, yeah, sure, if someone is coming in, but you don't want to encourage anyone to come in because we're staying at home. So they did flip it and change it around. So I'm kind of like, well, I'm like an online consultant. Then, you know, but sometimes they forget, and then they don't understand that the hashtag lives on, and that's where people are gonna go. They're gonna go to your website, like you say, or to the hashtag, and that's what they just don't get. So I'm still trying to work with them, but again, this is kind of just stuff that I learned bits and pieces the last couple of years, and so I'm not like, you know, like branded in it or like, you know, okay, we up here. One thing that I have a presence on Google, but I need to beef it up. And so that's really why I'm coming to the call, to kind of see how you can help me with that particular business. And so I'll talk to you offline about it, but I can use it for the pandemic. And just in terms of like, so it's not, I never became like an LLC or anything like that, but I know that there's ways that I can offer services and then create the invoice that shows, you know, my services are $100, but you're going to get a pro bono, you know, because of X, Y, Z. But I mean, now I can even say for the pandemic, and collect their email addresses like at that particular point. So, you know, just looking at that. Like I said, I'll talk to you offline on that.
Okay.
So, okay, so my question is for Sharon, because you just said something that, so you normally charge X amount of dollars per hour. Because of the pandemic, you're going to do it pro bono so you can collect the email address. My question would be, are you going to be able, having that information later on, are you going to be able to charge enough to recoup some or all of what you gave away? Is getting their
Well,
email
right.
address going to be enough later on?
Well, email in marketing terms, and Dr. Mayo can, like contribute. Yeah, email is like gold. It's like money. And as long as you get that permission, then you're telling them based on what he said, hey, I want to contact you later. And then they see that your services, and a lot of people now are actually offering free services, because I've been on a lot of conferences and they're like, hey, because of the pandemic, we're free. Because we know you're hurting. And actually when the people say that we know you're hurting, and you're seeing a lot of the presidents get on, I'm like, man, when I get off this pandemic, I want them. Even the car companies, everybody's showing their vulnerable side. So it's like everyone's. I was on one conference and they said it's changed from, like Chick-fil-A. They changed from, getting a customer hot service food, but like getting them PPE, protective mask and sanitizer, and how people are able to pivot. So for me, the particular service that I offer, it is more to help. And then, right now, because it's like a startup, I think you can give away, somebody told me too, you can give up away to, you can either collect 10,000 without being an LLC or anything, or then you can give away 10% of whatever, you collect or whatever like that. But for me, it's just a matter of getting the email addresses, and then my problem is not having a funnel. And when he talked about the services that he offered, Dr. Mayo, it's like, it's definitely worth the money in terms of either the $250 to $4,000, because that's generally what the people are asking you for. It's like $4,000 a month just to capture, someone to capture and market, because people are looking at 3 to 4 talk to me kind of points. So let's say you send 4 cards a year to somebody, they feel endeared to you. So it's not necessarily about, recouping the money. It's about building a loyal customer base, and then you'll get more money afterwards. So Brian, that's what I'm looking at. So for instance, like for BDPA, a lot of people, when I see them, on the street or whatever, they're like, I'm BDPA, and then I used to get the newsletters, the emails, and so in their mind, they still think they are, or I'll see them on the bus, I'll see them on the L, and they want a connection. And, the thing is that even with an emails don't open up as fast as a text, so, but still an email is a nice fuzzy, and even, believe it or not, a card. Some people market to me with a physical mail card, and it's like, wow, so, that's kind of, just trying to build the brand.
Sharon mentioned something, and she's absolutely right. The lists in digital marketing, the list is gold. That's what they call it. Your email. It's all about the email. And that, at the end of the day, is what, if you have a cohesive, whether it's in person, whether it's that social media leads that person to talk to you, and then you get the email, or the person goes on your site and they subscribe. It's all about the email. And it's the constant newslettering, is what we call it, that builds the loyalty. And so the key thing, which mentioned, is in times like this, for example, I was asked to speak at a chamber, and they asked how much I was going to charge. And I go, I'm not going to charge anybody in a time like this. I would rather just speak to everybody. But again, to her point, that is absolute like loyalty now, because not everybody has it. But this is the time when everybody doesn't have to actually get the most fans, is like what we like to call it, because everybody's got time to look at people. Everybody's got time to be nurtured under somebody for some reason or the other now. And that loyalty will carry over at the end. So I was speaking recently. I said, if your business even cannot recruit new people right now, digitally, build the loyalty, because once the pandemic is over, that loyalty is really going to stick because they've subscribed to you. You know, the thing is that with social media, I might not see it based on the optimization. Facebook controls who sees posts. So you can have 5,000 followers on your page. Before, we used to want a lot of followers because once they followed us and we posted, all the followers saw it. But Facebook changed that on us where you can have 5,000 followers now. And if you make a post, they're going to just show 5 people. And they test how those 5 people look at it. If 5 people like it, no, if they show 5 people and one actually spends 10 seconds on it and the other likes it, then they know they're going to show it to another 5. If they share it to 5 people and nobody likes it, they just stop there. Or nobody spends time looking at it, they just stop there. So that's the optimization. That's how. So it makes email critical because apart from spam, in most instances, I will get your email. And if the caption is good, if your content is good, I'm going to follow you. So even emails that are being sent out, the content still has to be interesting, because if not, then you're just an email that won't make me look into the content. So the email is gold. Absolutely, it's gold. The best way, you can get it on all channels, but having that little subscribe to our emailing list on our website is very huge, because people will just go there on their own and then subscribe. But that guarantees them seeing it. They might not see it on Facebook based on the optimization or on the time you post it. So that gets limited. Whereas there's probably no chance that they'll miss your email or text, like you mentioned.
Right. So, Dr. Mile, in terms of you help people with their website, and then do you help them with the subscribe? Because, like I said, I have another group. They just need to be kicked off, and that's kind of what I'm looking at for them. Because most people would like saying the landing pages, and then a lot of people were scooting over to that, but the website wasn't good.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, the thing about it,
yeah.
Continue.
And do you maintain monthly?
Do we maintain
the
what?
update of the website? The website. Do you help?
Yeah, so that's what we do. Yeah, so for most of the clients that we do SEO for monthly, that's what we do. We sort of manage their sites, make sure it's updated. In the SEO industry, it's gotten so technical right now that what was right and working a few months ago is actually against the law today. And if you don't make those changes, you're dinged by Google. I mean, something that was actually encouraged by them or tolerated by them a few months ago becomes a complete no-no overnight. And if you don't make those changes, you just drop in ranking immediately. So we do that. We help because the information on the website, the word architecture is what we call it, how the words are placed on the website per paragraph, per content, how the pictures are optimized, how the video is optimized, all those things play into it. And a landing page is useless on a website that doesn't look good, no matter what it is, because I can have a bright sign in front of a store. That's a big sign that when I'm driving in front of the store, I see it and it looks lovely. But I get in the store and I don't have directions. If I don't have signs, if I don't have anybody greeting me to say hello, I'm eventually probably going to walk out of that store without signing up, without buying anything, because it's a beautiful store outside, but inside it sucks. And it's the same thing when it comes to websites. It's the same analogy. So if I'm going to a website and it's all bright and dandy, all in front, but there's not enough stuff to immerse me in there compared to the competitor, then you're going to be losing out. And in our world, we see it. We see it. Like, we will get messages from Google that indirectly say, or indirectly imply that people would go 10 miles to shop for things that they don't know around them because the person that's local is just not marketing right. So that lets you know how much people are missing out. So if the search is for a certain product was 50,000 searches that month, and people are actually going all the way to Chicago to go get it because they just don't know you are next to them. You just say business sucks, but it's really not business that sucks. It's really your marketing, your awareness.
Good analogy.
Yeah, so that's we get it. It's like 2 miles away there'll be somebody selling something, but nobody just knows they're there. But people actually go 10 miles to go get it.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
I was going to say preach, but we're not in there. So
That's a digital world. But it presents a whole lot. When you look at it like that, it presents a whole lot of opportunity. Whole lot of opportunity to say, hey, I want my site to look as good as when people walk in my home, because virtually that is my home. If you have a physical building that you work in, everything in there should look good. Everything in there should be appropriate. There should be signs that lead people to here, the copier, the bathroom, the this, the that. It's clean. It's the same thing. Your website should reflect the same thing because that's your virtual property that actually a lot more people see than your physical property. There'll be tons of people that'll see your website and your social media that'll never see your physical location in person and still do business with you. So yeah.
more questions for Dr. Mayo?
I wanted me to share that, bring the slide up. Okay. All platforms again. So, but yeah, that's the digital world.
So what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it is, and it gets more technical. It gets more technical by the day because when you think of it, towards the end of last year, we had so many changes in the industry. It almost, it was almost a meltdown period because all systems were changing, and you had clients that you had strategies plugged in.
I'm on a BDPA,
For
Chicago State.
And it was almost a meltdown. And I sat down and I thought about it. I go, these companies out there, Google, Facebook, these companies have $1 million teams. They're paying people tons of money to release products, like there's somebody who's going to work every day on a timeline to release a new app with a whole team. And that's his job that's getting paid a gazillion for. And that's what we're really up against. And they have all these teams, micro teams in place. Like there's this guy who's just ready to launch his stuff. And that's what we're up against. Because every now and then there's a new update, a new app, a new this, a new that, and we're just going, wow, a new change. So it gets so technical and it just never stops. It never ever stops. It's such a vast digital world that it could be overbearing, but it can't be ignored. And that's the thing. It's because we operate in it. All you have to do is look at how many times you are on the phone. You guys are in the industry, so you guys know it. It's like you're already in it. You might as well milk it. and not being in it sort of emphasizes how you're not really with the times. And nobody from a business perspective really wants to not really wants to deal with somebody who's not in the times, except if you have a vintage store, or you sell old classics and stuff. Other than that, people want a store. If I was given an option to go to two stores and they go, that one's more modern and they got newer products and stuff, automatically you're going to go to that store. And it's just the same digitally.
So, Dr. Meyer, you said so Facebook is the leading post. There, Google is getting rid of content and searches. So, I had there's other search engines, like I think it's called DuckDuckGo is one.
Mm-hmm.
But are you on any of those other search engines along with Google?
Well, for clients, we optimize Google, Bing, and Yahoo. Those are the three main ones, and they all have sort of like map listings where you can go on them and sign up, just like we have Google My Business. But those are the three main search engines, and many of those little other search engines are actually tied to Google. They're powered by Google. I believe some of them are sort of linked to it. So, but those are the three main ones we optimize.
And then, so because we're really like a 501c6, we're under a 501c3, which is a national organization, and we can market to those too because we're technically a small business.
Oh, I see.
So we can do that. Okay.
You say so the nonprofits, right?
Yeah, we're nonprofit, and
Okay.
so that's like our classification.
Okay.
And then how do you get on Bing?
In which way? As a map listing or SEO wise?
Both.
Okay. Well, as a map listing, the good thing is you can join them. They sort of have the same verification process as Google. And the good thing is once you join, they just import all your stuff. You can link your Google account to it and they'll import all your information so you don't have to set it up all the way. Bing is SEO wise is just still being good with your SEO. If you optimize if you do great search engine optimization on your website, all search engines will pick it up. Because it just has to do with how you optimize that site. And so a good way to look at it is when you want to buy a house, you can sort it by the house, you can sort it by the rooms. And so if you wanted to buy a house with 5 bedrooms, you can do all that sorting. But a house with 5 bedrooms is quite big, has all that stuff going for it. So in this instance, that's what Google's doing, because Google knows, for example, that that filter, a house with 5 bedrooms, shows that a lot has been put in there. We know it's 5 bedrooms, it's a big house and stuff. It's simply what Google's doing too, because it now knows that, oh, that website is a 5-bedroom website. It's a mansion. It's got good content on it. I can show it to everybody. That's all it is. All Google is a customer service tool based off of people's interactions to the T. And whether it's bounce rate, looking at how long people spend on a post, on a page, and all that, that's what it feeds back to go, oh, you know what, that website is good. So you can't deceive it, You can have a website with 1,000 pages and go, because Google wants a website with 1,000 pages with bad content on it, and your SEO might just surge initially just because it's registered 1,000 pages, but once it knows when people go there and they get off really quick and they're not spending time there, or they're bouncing out. It's like, this isn't good, so I'm not going to be showing it to as many people. That's all it is. That's all what Google is, a customer service tool based on people's interactions. And so when people have visited your website and have spent much time there, if I've searched for social media help and I go to BizCrown Media and actually watched 5 videos on there, bounce from page to page, and so Google starts to notice, like, wow, this is good, this is good, this is good. I can rely on this. I can show more people this. Okay, and that's all. So you can't deceive it. You have to have good content.
So for our national organization and then all the other ones, we have like too much content. So if you Google us any day or any week, as a local chapter, different things come up. Depends on the browser, depends on the technology, whether you're on mobile, whether you're on desktop, laptop, tablet, and then, you know, we'll find stuff from like 2013, 1999, you know. So, and it has to do with the search engine optimization, but will all the chapters have to get aligned in the national, or can Chicago just do their own? So it's just like just on Chicago and then pulling all our stuff.
Yeah, you can optimize.
Would it be best to work with the other people too?
No, you can optimize all differently. And depending on how you optimize, each site is how it's going to perform. So,
and then do pictures count more? Because I used to code COBOL, and so I know they take up more space, but is it better to have like a moving video, a color photo, or in terms of your content?
all content is good. It's mostly what you name it that really matters the most. If there's a big secret that you're going to take away from this, it should be that. So you'll go to a lot of websites, and I'll show you now. Let me go here. I'll share my screen. Okay. So let's look at this, for instance, here.
Okay, somebody take screen prints for me.
I'm sorry?
I said somebody take screen prints for me.
The session's being recorded.
Okay.
Oh, excellent. Thanks.
Okay. So real quick, open new tab. I'm going to go in here. If you notice here, if you're seeing my screen, you will notice it's Angela Proberg profile pic. That's really what matters the most when it comes to content. Your content that you put out there is valuable in the show, but also what you name it is really, really what's vital. So you'll go to a lot of websites, which is quite interesting, and you'll just see that, you know, the home page picture is just a JPEG 456. That's a lot of missed opportunity. A lot of missed opportunity. So if you were BDPA Chicago, you would want all the pictures on your website to be optimized saying BDPA Chicago. Another one would say Black Data, like it would express it all out, you know, and that's really a major key to optimization. Even the name of your video, that when you upload a video on YouTube, what you name it is important. So at the end of the day, the name of anything is so important. And so SEO, pictures are good, all that's good. But if on that website there's 5 content that's all mentioning BDPA in different forms relating to Chicago, then that's optimization right there.
Oh, thank you.
So if there's a key thing when it comes to SEO that'll make a huge difference overnight, is what you name the pictures you actually save on your website. So if you're on the website and You are an IT specialist in Chicago. You put the name of your business and name IT specialist Chicago and save it on the website, because as Google's scanning, it's looking at all that. So it doesn't know what JPEG 456 is because that's the name of that picture. And so if you actually do, you can see those are all tagged images, because some, even with a misspelling, and then you can see all what Google's recommending here, all things that are sort of related to me. That's because of what the names of these things on the websites, and not just on there. Like, this is Facebook, as you could see. YouTube, if you go more. So what you name it is very, very important. What's really here, comes up here, I don't know if you can see my address bar, is really, really important. Yeah. See, digital marketing services, very important. It's not just, and a lot of sites, you'll go here and say BizCrown Media .123477847. It's like, okay. That's like walking and somebody's asking your name and you don't have anything to say. You're telling the internet you really don't. So all that's really, really virtual. A lot of good real estate. And when it gets into SEO, technicalities of SEO, what you alt tag your pictures, all those things play an important role. But if it's related to your name and your service, then it's really golden for you there.
You said your name and your service?
Yeah. So, yeah, a mixture. So if you,
Like, so for BDPA, then, I think sometimes we'll say IT, sometimes we'll say education.
right.
So
Various
association.
ways.
Okay.
So for our optimization here, you'll see at times in our optimization here is Chicagoland digital marketing, Chicagoland, Northwest suburbs digital marketing. Some pictures are named like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So everything on the website should have a name, whether it's the picture, especially the image or the video that you're posting on there. It should. Also, another thing too is if you start to, another advantage too is if you do videos and blogs, those help a lot because that lets a lot of people spend time on your website. And when they spend time on your website, that's very good for you. So if somebody, for instance, goes here, personal digital branding, and they read this, they watch the video, which should show up here. They click an ad, all those things help. So, for instance, we make revenue from just people reading here because if they click an ad that's related to something that they want, or they view it, it helps us. So not only is just the optimization of them spending more time on your site beneficial to your SEO overall, depending on what products you have on your site to sell, that also helps.
Sharon, did you get back in?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Okay.
okay.
question on the YouTube and the advertising. How can you make the money?
So YouTube they've changed as of recent, and that's been interesting because before all you needed to do was monetize your content, and when people watched it, but now you need 10,000 subscribers. This was as of late. You need at least 10,000 subscribers, and then what's the other metric? To have watched, is it 50,000 minutes or so? So the key to success on YouTube, though, is constant content. I actually did an analysis on this personally when we started our YouTube page to find out how we could be successful with it. And my analysis pointed to this. If you want to be successful on YouTube, you have to spit out content on there every day. And all those that are successful on it have turned it into a full-time gig. They get on it at 9 and they're off of it later on. You know, they give it the hours. So if you do the research, and when you do that, it automatically you start to get the followers. So it's all about putting content. I mean, that's where it is. That's where a lot of work is. But if you do it steadily, over time, what happens is it builds over time. And what I've also done is you can go on create content on YouTube and do exactly what I've done. So right here, this video, the personal branding video on here is not monetized, of course, because we're not at that subscriber count. But when you come here, it's monetized because of the ads. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay, so let me explain it. So if you went here and you watch this video, if it was monetized, we would make the revenue from you watching this video. It's as equivalent as you coming here and watching the video and these ads being here.
Okay, correct.
So for us, we're like, oh, okay, if they do that, even better. We need to transfer all our videos to the website and then monetize them. And the likelihood that they'll have something catered to them here and mass is pretty good. So yeah, we're not monetized on YouTube here, but we actually are monetized here when you think about it.
But you're not monetized until someone actually clicks on that ad, though, right?
Not necessarily viewing it.
No, yeah.
The views, impressions also count.
So just hitting this page.
Some is viewed to the.
Impressions count. Your impressions count and clicks. That's how you get ad money, is impressions and clicks. Clicks are more, no doubt, but the impressions count. And this was an eye-opener for me because a client that, I'll give this eye-opening thing, a client that we had who does home remodeling, we had a meeting. And in the meeting, he questioned us on why his website wasn't getting as much traffic as a competitor of his. So we said, okay, can we see the competitor's website? And he showed it to us. And I don't even think I can remember. Can I remember the name of this competitor? I wish I could. If it comes to mind, I'll show you guys this website. And he goes, why aren't we getting this? And when we analyze this guy's website, he gets 1 million views a month. 1 million views a month. He goes, I go, you're not like, this guy's on a different level. He gets 1 million views a month. He goes, yeah, I know. He makes $10,000 in ads on Google every month. A home remodeler. And I'm going, hey, here I am, an SEO specialist. And that just led me to start transferring all the content to the website because all I realized was that he had tons of blogs on his website. And he was a home remodeler that had hired an SEO. If you go and look at their employees, I just can't remember the name. If it comes to me, I'll show you. A home remodeling employee was a social media manager or on the web, an SEO strategist. But they make $10,000 in ads every month because they get 1 million views on that website.
Okay,
So-
here's another question.
Mhm.
So some of our past presenters like, no, we'll do podcasts. We don't want you to videotape us. But if you have their verbal permission to do that podcast, can you create like a YouTube that has like a stagnant background or moving pictures? You know, like when you listen to the old records when they just have like the cover, the album cover. So is it okay to do that, and then you can load that to your website?
What videos?
It would look like a video, but it's not. It's really like a podcast or just the sound portion.
Mm-hmm.
And can you make it like like say a person put like an album cover, and then they just have the person singing the song, but you can do that and make it look like a video.
Yeah, and that's interactive.
Okay.
That's not as interactive,
Right.
That's not as interactive because then all they're doing is mostly hearing you and listening to you because they'll figure out, I'm not watching.
Oh yeah.
But it's sort of, audio. That's still audio, and audio helps. There's a reason podcasts are huge now. I mean, Spotify.
We have pictures too. Okay, but go ahead about Spotify. Sorry about that.
You can notice that Spotify changed from being just a music company. They're now Spotify podcasts and music because the appetite for podcasts are just so huge now. So that would still work. It's still content, not as visual, but it is still content. Now that you won't want to put on maybe the front of the website, but it still counts as video that could be shared as social media and stuff. And a lot of people don't know, but you could also do slides on what you're talking about. That's interactive. You can use slides and talk over the slides, just as we're doing.
Oh.
And so there are many times I do that. I have an app I use this Screenomatic, and all there is where I do mostly the tutorials, and I'm not in it. All I'm doing is capturing. This is the last one we did, Facebook Audience Insights, and all we're doing is just capturing the screen. But this is a video on me just talking. And girl, man, interests that they can actually pick to a country. And you can see I'm not in there, but I've just cast the screen. So there's so many things you could do when you get like a screen grabber. You can decide to do a quick PowerPoint. This kind of PowerPoint, turn it into a video, and boom. And these get the most. The tutorial videos, they get way more almost than the regular videos. My most watched video here that just gets hits on its own is a Facebook campaign overview, but it's just gotten a life of its own. That when you search, Facebook campaign overview, here, it just pops up on the first page, and it's just gotten a life of its own. It's the most watched. This is the most watched video on BizCrown Media's YouTube channel. It gets so many views a day. Why? I don't know. How? I don't know. But organically, we haven't marketed it. We haven't put any dollars behind it. That's it. Another way also to get more, I'll show you Proverb, and I know it's almost time. Proverb is to do the YouTube ads. So this is Proverb, where we do ads. And I mean, this is our client, Dr. Jeremy, who Brian is well aware of. You could see this is through SEO, but look at how many views they have, 30,000 views. So those are ads though. So the more you spend also, you can also get. And here real quick, before I go, I found the website just to show you guys. This is the website that makes $10,000 on the average in advertising. You've never heard of them. They're in Naperville, but the whole reason is this. It's all from here. Their blogs, remodeling ideas, pricing guide. I mean, it's insane, but they make on the average 10,000 and they dollars in ads a month, and they get 1 million views a month. And so this is not, you can see like this is home remodeling, but he's making money in a totally different way. And so I told the client, who I think Brian actually knows the client, like, you're far away.
I kind of suspected who you were talking about, but I wasn't going to mention a name. So
Like this guy has a full-time person pounding out blogs every day and remodeling ideas. Totally different. You can see their website is just stuff. And I go, where do I? So that's what kind of lit me up and went, wow, you have a lot of videos. Put those videos on the website as opposed to them being on YouTube and monetize, as you can see what this guy has done here. Because videos they convert way more than written content and pictures.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could retire on this site. Like, wonder why he's even doing remodeling. So yeah, that's what you said. Like, yeah, you are far away. Like, this guy has a full-time worker that he's paying benefits for, but he knows what he's getting out of it. And so when we tell people invest, they don't see the bigger picture. But here is the bigger picture. We have another client who's a kitchen remodeler, and they spend $10,000 to $20,000 every month on home remodeling sites to get leads and stuff. And when we were doing research to help them, the sites that we went to, we saw comments that Home Advisor sucked. Home Advisor sucked and it wasn't the best and they spent this. But when we found out, those that said Home Advisor sucked only spent $500 to $1,000 a month. No wonder. Because this bigger client, that was their main source. They were spending 20 grand a month and they'll get 4 or 5 jobs out of it. So I tell people, knowing the bigger picture helps you, because if you started working for this guy and you left him, you already know the formula. So you wouldn't mind going to invest 40 grand in somebody because this is what it's going to get you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to tell somebody who's just going to go on Home Advisor for the first time, spend 20 grand. They'll be like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. But you're not going to get anything out of it then. So I go, wow, the whiners are the ones spending $500 a grand. No wonder. Whereas those that are spending 20 are getting, it's the same philosophy.
get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I was
that's my other one. Sometimes free costs too much.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You actually lose a lot more. So you can see this is the founder, the owner, the team members, designer, project manager, and look at this guy. This is a full-time job. Like, how many design companies have this employee? No, they're all designers. So if you went and consulted with them and said, you needed this guy, and then you'd be making more in helping people remodel their homes on their own, they'll go, no. But yeah. And we'll say he gets paid 40, 50 grand a year and stuff, which that's 3-4 months taken care of just in ads. But that's the digital world. That's the digital world and the opportunity. So you can decide to just do, even as you're doing IT and helping people, you could decide, hey, I'm going to go on the website, be doing YouTube videos, put it on the website and put ads next to it, and bingo. it starts drawing traffic to your website, and then you start making revenue, not just from people reaching out to you for help, but also the revenue of you just placing ads and stuff on there.
Oh, that's excellent.
Mhm.
That's an excellent idea.
All righty.
So,
Well, we're coming up on 8 o'clock.
yep.
I am already a half hour late for my next meeting. So,
Mhm.
so
But thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dr.
no,
Mayo.
thank Dr. Mayo. Thank Dr.
Thank
Mayo.
you, Dr. Mayo. Thank you very much. Good information.
Thank you.
So,
Awesome.
we're gonna.
And I'll log off.
I'm sorry, Dr. Mayo.
No, I said I'll log off. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. For everyone that showed up tonight, thank you very much. Look for us for what month are we in? May, for June, for the next program meeting. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.